Hey, we are here live finally talking about Bridgerton season 3, part 1. Woo. Part 1, Netflix. Really? That's just, I mean, I get it, business strategy wise, you want to keep your subscribers, but it's really annoying. It's really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa. If you're new here, this is your first time seeing me, thank you so much for checking us out. I know if you're watching, you were a super duper fan of either Colin and Penelope or Bridgerton in general or historical romance or romance in general. And you know what? So are we. So that's why I am a romance nerd and I wanted to have a live chat with all my sweet friends. And I have Anne from Live Antagonist here. You guys may know her. She makes wonderful romance trope videos. She educates me on all the tropes. I love watching her videos.
Every time you say that, I'm like, ooh, I'm not an educator.
Research goes into your videos, and I'm like, man, it's amazing. So much work goes into it. And then, of course, we have Gabby. And then we have Sam, A Good Day for a Book. You may find her Bookstagram on Instagram. Okay, so there are 4 people watching. I'm so excited. You guys, chime in. Name yourselves and leave a comment and a like, because the like helps to push the visibility of this video. Very important if you want to actually support creators that you enjoy on YouTube. And I know a lot of you guys will watch this on the playback because more people just end up watching it after. So yeah, if you're enjoying it, same goes for you. Subscribe, like the video, and we will see you again for part 2 in about a month. I'm saying it again, a month. Okay, so I always love to start by asking everyone what they rate the show overall, and then you could briefly, you could just say what your rating is, and then we can go into it afterwards. So because I'm the head bitch in charge, I'm gonna go last. Oh, who wants to volunteer?
I'll go first.
Okay, go Gabby.
So I give part 1 a 3.
Okay. Why'd you say part 1 like that? Like you have
because it's like she said we're gonna rate the show as a whole, and I'm like, well, specifically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Fair. Okay.
Part 1. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Sam, Anne.
Are we doing it out of 5, right?
Yes, out of 5.
Okay, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Ooh, so I'm gonna be the meanest one.
You don't know if you're gonna be the meanest.
Somebody has to be.
I'm gonna give it, because I was told I'm allowed to do decimals. I'm gonna give it a 2.8 out of 5.
Okay. 2.8. Okay. Yeah. All right. I am gonna give the show a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. And it's mostly because for me, I felt like a 2 felt too low because I didn't hate it. And I did give season 2 a 2. And I think because I was so excited for that enemies to lovers. And then I personally felt disappointed that I went in with more expectations and I was let down. But then I went into this with low expectations. And then I watched it and I thought it was fine. It was fine.
Fair.
It didn't blow me away. It wasn't terrible. I do have complaints about certain things, as I always do. I'm sure we all do. But then we'll get more into it. Gabby, do you want to say why you rated it a 3?
Yeah, I mean, it mainly comes down to Colin for me. It's just I really need to love the romantic hero, and he just had little brother energy. I couldn't just let go of. You know what I mean? And I lost it by the 4th episode. Okay, I'll admit it. I think he got I think I liked him a little bit more and kind of got it by then.
That was a hot finger banging scene. How could you not?
Yeah, exactly. But I do think those first 2 episodes were really hard to get through because of it. I just and the thing is, it's I don't necessarily need to like them immediately. I did not like Anthony right away, and he totally won me over really early on in season 2. So I was open to falling in love with Colin, and it took me much longer, and that's kind of why I give it.
You describe why it took you so long to like him. What didn't you like about him in the first 2 or 3 episodes?
I just felt like they were really forcing us to look at him as this rakish, charming guy, and I never got that vibe from Colin, and I just felt it felt really forced, and I just was why couldn't he just be himself? and like get us to like him that way, you know, because like we see more of him, like him as himself, like in the 3rd and 4th episode. But in like those first 2, when he's like visiting the brothel, which I mean, like whatever, but you know, or just like hanging around and talking to the ladies, it was just over the top and weird, and I was like, I don't know, I felt like the show and the writers were working really, really hard to make us like think, yes, this is an attractive man, you must like him, you know, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the character or the actor himself, but I just felt like he's not on the same level as like a lead male character, like a leading man. Because I also never really fell for him as well. And I do think, are all the Bridgerton brothers pretty much rakes in the series? Gabby, you read all of them. Tell me.
Yeah, they are. They don't all like. Not all the books get into that so much, but I think Colin's felt. I mean, obviously he slept around, like he had experiences, so that wasn't hidden, but it wasn't like a big part of it. Like I guess you know they made the other guys so.
Yeah, I can understand your feelings on Colin, and we'll get more into that. But I want to hear Anne and Sam's reasons for their ratings.
I can go quick because I have the lowest one, so I feel like I have to explain myself. I just felt like for Bridgerton, it was not good enough for me. That's kind of the vibe I got. I think if it was just some show, I probably would have gave it like a 3. But within both seasons, season 1 and 2, I got a really clear understanding of who the main lead male was. Like there were flashbacks, there was a backstory, there was motivation or a lie that they believed. I don't know what the lie that Colin believes is. Honestly, I don't know a lot about Colin, period. Like I don't dislike him because I don't really think they've actually delved into him as a character. I know we've been like watching him for 2 seasons, but we've been watching him on the side, you know, it's the same way we saw Anthony for a long time in season 1, but I didn't actually know him like I knew him after season 2 because I learned so much about his backstory. I like knew how he thinks. Like I could predict the next thing that Anthony would do because they did such a good job at showcasing his character. Same thing with Simon. So I was really disappointed. I honestly thought because Penn is like the fan favorite, I thought they would maybe actually kind of flip it and delve more into her backstory. Like I thought they would maybe go back in time and show like Lady Whistledown, how she's been treated and like her first meeting with Colin and blah, blah, blah. But they did neither of those things. So to me, I was left with like a shell of a character. And then I don't know, that's just like not interesting. I'm a very character driven person. Like when I watch a show, especially romance, and I felt like there wasn't good character work done, and that really, really like irked me. So that's why, to me,
that is a good point. Because now that you're saying that, we do see flashback scenes in seasons 1 and 2 with Anthony and also Simon. We really get to see why they are the way that they are.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking of it, I don't know. Does Colin have? I don't know if he's dealing with any kind of like. I mean, I guess we kind of see a little bit of what he's dealing with, but towards the end of part 1, where he's like, "Man, I don't want to do this anymore." I guess he means like sleeping around. I don't know.
But
I was gonna say, like in the book, I mean, his motive, like his whole like crisis is that he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. Like he doesn't know what purpose he has. So he wants to be like, he's a good writer, and like Penelope tries to encourage that, but he doesn't believe in himself. So like that would be like his vocation. But they don't mention this at all on the show. Like, and that would be a really great story to include, especially because Penelope's an established writer, you know?
Yeah.
It would be great tension, but
for sure. I even think they could have gone, because I do understand that from what I understand, the whole backstory of Marina and all that stuff didn't happen in the book. So it's very different. I thought they would maybe even go in that route of like, he's been naive in love. And like, that's why he's going 180. Like, I don't believe in, which is kind of like Anthony's thing, but I don't believe in love because it's people are going to betray me. Like, I still think that's a little bit different. Like, I don't want to fall in love because I think I'm going to get fooled or tricked.
He was pretty burned by Marina. That's true.
Exactly. And then and I think friends for lovers is the perfect formula for that. Cause it's like, you've trusted this person before. So like, hello. Like, I just feel like the stuff was right there, and they were like, "Nah, I don't want it." So I don't know.
Yeah.
We can get into it. Go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, Sam, go ahead. Sorry, we delved more, and I forgot to ask you why you rated it high.
As you should. So I actually agree with everything you guys have said. I agree with everything. And my first rating was actually 3.5 out of 5. The reason, so for me, and I actually talk about this with Melissa a lot, and I don't struggle to give a higher rating than I probably should. And I know I have a bad habit of that. But my thing is, the reason I gave the first part a 4 out of 5 was because I was able to I just watched it straight through. I was not bored. I was entertained. I didn't stop. I watched all 4 episodes back to back, and I usually don't always binge shows. I'm not a huge binger. So for me, I gave it that high rating because I was like, I was entertained. Okay, yeah, great. However, I agree with everything you guys were saying, and I think I also gave it a high rating because I tried not to think of the first 2 seasons, because comparing it to the first 2 seasons, this was not a great first part of the season. Yes, episode 4, great. But overall, don't kill me, I don't see Penelope and Colin having that much like chemistry.
You're not wrong.
I don't see it either.
I want them to. And I think it's kind of there. But I think for me, friends to lovers is sometimes difficult because I don't know.
It's favorite.
Really?
It's not okay. You know that I hate Insta love more, but Friends to Lovers, I don't get pulled much to read that. And if I've liked any, it's because we get to see them meet in the book. So it's a stranger's friends to lovers.
Right.
But if they're childhood best friends, kill me now.
Really? Oh my God. No way.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Oh, and kill me now if she's the one that's been pining for all those years, which I have a huge issue with.
That I can see. That I'll give you because she falls first. Like,
she falls first. No, miss me with that. Miss me with that bullshit. I won't read the books.
Yeah,
I have developed like by now. I've read hundreds, and I don't think it. Sorry, I'll get into it because I have complaints about that. But go ahead.
I know, but I agree honestly with everything. I think another reason why I rated it so high was because I liked what was going on outside of Penelope and Colin. Honestly, for an episode there, I forgot who the main characters were because I was very focused on Lady Bridgerton finally getting some attention. I was very focused on Francesca and John. I was very focused on seeing Anthony's beautiful, stunning wife. So I liked what was going on outside of it. So my 4 out of 5 isn't really so much for Colin and Penelope as much as it is for the other things. And I guess like my anticipation and the fact that I wasn't like dreading finishing it. So for me, if I can watch 4 episodes of anything back to back and my attention is on it, I'm like, okay, sold.
No, that's fair as well. Like well-round, like the whole season as well, I think is for sure.
Yeah. This probably is the first season that, I mean, I still have some issues with some side plots. Like, can somebody genuinely tell me, are you confused or astounded or entertained by how much the Mondricks are in this season? I feel a little bad for saying this, but
it's because of diversity. It has to be because this is the first, like,
which again, I feel bad, but it feels, it's that whole like, this is an overcorrection. This feels kind of forced because
it is forced.
What do they have to do with this plot? Is it going to pay off in the future? Why do I care about this club or the upgrade?
I thought they would connect it to Penelope's like daddy or something.
Yes,
like, you know how he died? That's my friends.
That screen time could have gone to some more Polin scenes. Okay.
This is my theory, and I know maybe this is not where we're going, and you can steer me back to the conversation. I think the biggest mistake they made for the show was ending the love coach stuff in episode 2.
Yes, yes. I wanted to see more of that because that is one of my favorite tropes, like lessons in seduction and flirting. I eat that shit up.
That drew me in.
But then there wasn't much to it.
They literally had one scene and they're like, oh my gosh, Eloise is here. And then done.
That's over.
Yeah.
And I love that trope. And I wish they had played that up more because what I would have loved to see is like, okay, he's giving her lessons and she's getting like really good at it, that he's like kind of like already falling for her.
Yeah.
And he already started to feel himself falling before he had to like have her ask him for a kiss. Which like I get her desperation in that moment because of her place in society, and she really has a terrible, not supportive family, and she feels like shit. And I get it, girl. I get it. But I wanted more lessons so that during the lessons we could have been seeing him fall for her in those lessons. Because
I feel like, and obviously I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like maybe they had to rush that. I don't know. I wish they hadn't, because the second part of this season, I imagine, is going to be 4 episodes. So he needs to still find out that she is Lady Whistledown. And then so they need to go through all of that. So I feel like they rushed that stuff, because then in this next part, there has to be back and forth. He can't find out right away. And it needs to be the night before the wedding. And the wedding's not going to be until the last 2 episodes. And then it's I feel like there's so much, because we already know who she is. He has to know who she is, because the sister's not going to let them get married without him knowing. So I feel like that's going to be the problem in the next 4 episodes. So they couldn't keep doing all the teachable things, which I disagree. I think they should have.
Yeah. I wrote down in my notes kind of what you said. It, to me, at least, my thesis of the season, of this part of the season, because there's still part 2. I think I'm going to enjoy part 2 a lot, by the way, for the record. But for part 1, yeah, for sure. I felt like Colin and Penelope getting together felt less like a relationship and more like a plot device to set up stakes for part 2 for the whole angst of Lady Whistledown. It didn't really feel like they were laying down the it was just oh, these people are gonna get together. Y'all already know. It's and then when we're gonna ruin it in the second half. That's definitely what it feels like.
Yeah, in that sense, it feels very unbalanced, And I think that's just the problem with the whole season split. It just, I get it has that great cliffhanger, and it reminded me of New Moon from Twilight. Anyway, but.
Yes.
Wait, why? Why New Moon?
Because remember, New Moon ended with Edward's proposal.
Oh.
And then it ends and she's like, and then it ends.
Yeah,
wow.
It's literally the same ending.
Throwback.
But anyway,
your mind. Very good.
But but yeah, I just felt it felt so unbalanced in that sense. I do wish there were stakes. You kind of get a sense of it when which you don't really. I guess you understand it if you remember the Marina stuff, but if it doesn't come to mind immediately, Colin's visceral hatred of Lady Whistledown felt very, very stark. But then it's so fleeting that you forget it amongst all the other things that are happening. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel kind of a little bit shallow as well, because I already mentioned it, but he just wasn't really giving leading man, in my opinion. But I think I cut someone off earlier. I'm so sorry. But okay, who is going to argue why the Mondrick scenes need to be here? Who's brave?
I don't dislike the scenes. I just I agree. They feel very supplemental and a diversity move. Just to do something with them. I wish they worked harder and were a lot smarter about it. But I don't know. I think I saw someone on Twitter make a theory that maybe their son's gonna be a love interest for something.
Yeah, which is what I'm hoping, that they're gonna come more into play and be more relevant to the plot, because right now they just if I'm noticing the overcorrection, it's because you're not making them useful and valuable in the plot yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I would argue I would have to see. I'm a very stats girl, so I don't actually know how long or how much time they're actually taking up. I think
Right.
we're feeling it because
Yeah.
they don't have anything to do with the story. So they might
That is
only be
fair.
taking up, for all we know, like 2 minutes in every episode, but it's like 2 minutes that we don't understand why we're watching them, you know?
That is fair.
So
that's fair.
I
Yeah,
think
Bridgerton fans are always like very precious with every moment of screen time everyone gets.
I mean, because we're here for the romance, and then it's not always focused on the romance couple. It's okay for us to be a little angry. Although, speaking of romance couples, I feel like they're kind of setting up Francesca's love story for season 4, perhaps. Because
you
otherwise,
think she's in season 4?
I think probably season 5 or 6.
I think, I don't think she's season 4.
wow,
The brother needs to be next season. My God, what's his name?
Benedict.
Benedict. Thank you.
I don't even think Benedict's going to be next season. And I have an issue with Benedict's storyline, but
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
They show him messing with the widow. So then, what is the point of doing the stepping stones with watching Francesca meet John? What's the purpose of that?
I don't want to. Do we want to do book spoilers? I don't want to do a book spoiler. So
I already know.
I think like they need. I think she needs to have more time with John before they do the big thing that happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
at least one season in between this one and hers.
Oh, one whole season. Because I figured that they would do like, first 4 episodes, their courtship, and then the rest of the 4.
No, because quite a bit of time passes between the big thing and her next big thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think also it would make it too sad if it went immediately. Like, sorry if that is obvious to people, but if they don't set it up early enough, because she needs to be with that person for a little bit of time before it happens. So if it's like immediate, I think that'd be too like, because they're already crunching the timeline quite a lot.
They are
in this whole series, anyways.
Well, that's why also with my higher rating, because at times I'd forget that it was Penelope and Colin's season. I 100% would be like, oh shit, this is their thing. And
the couple of the season.
It was so adorable. Like they're quiet.
Francesca and John. Oh my god. Look, I fell in love with Francesca because she's very like reserved. Like I love that show that she's very much interested in finding a match. She wants a husband, she wants a family, but like she doesn't want to like go to the parties and talk to everybody. I'm like, I feel you, girl.
Not relatable. She's like,
relatable.
Yeah,
for the introverted girlies, and I was like, I love this. I want to see more of this story.
Yeah, no, she was so good. I think Hannah Dodd is the actress. She did a really, really good job. I really liked.
She's so beautiful, and she was playing it off really well because there's that scene where they're at some ball and like there's 3 suitors that come to her all at one time, and they're all asking her like these deep questions, and she gets overwhelmed. She has to step away, and I'm like, I felt that. I was like, I feel like I'm being attacked. Like, can we please warm up a little bit here?
Be calm. Yeah. They were doing a lot.
Bit. I love that. So now like I'm like obsessed with Francesca, and I want to see more of her story instead of Polin.
Yeah.
Well, quickly skipping to Francesca, my favorite was when he gave her the music in like a different tempo, and she was like, we gotta go, I have to leave this party because I have to go home to read the sheet music. And I was like, I can't tell you how many times I've been out and I'm like, I gotta go home because I have to read this book.
Yeah. It was so cute. And I love the scene where she's telling Violet, like, he like did it just as I played it. That was so like just like joyous. It was so cute. Oh my gosh.
Cute. And the scene where he comes to call on her and they're just sitting in the drawer room, which is cute, but I do wish they did speak a little bit, because even as introverted as we are, we do have like conversations. So, like he literally sat next to her and looked at the wall.
I don't know. I thought that was so sweetly funny. Like it was a great moment to have like a sweet and like genuinely comedic moment, because they're just like they're a little bit of like they're oddballs, you know. And I think the show fully embraces that, and I don't know. I found it so charming.
Yes, they were. And then being an oddball, I think, and feeling like out of place, I think was very much a theme in this season, because we see that with Francesca, and then I think also John. And of course, Penelope, who's a wallflower. People overlook her, make fun of her. And then also vegetarian dude, which I didn't see coming. I don't think he's in the book. Is he in the book? No, he's not in the book. Lord Debling.
Lord Debling.
But he was talking to Penelope about how he felt very much out of place in his family. So I liked how they connected there. And I honestly thought he was like a cool, nice guy. Yes, he was going to be away for 3 years, but hello, she was looking for somebody who wasn't going to be around her anyway. So like,
she could keep being whistled
and he was honest about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, you waited 300 years for Colin, so like, wait.
Where is this nothing? I liked him. Do you guys have thoughts on Lord Debling? Debling?
I liked him too. I mean, I was honestly fine if they took more time with her and him, like getting to know each other. Yeah, he was like a nice guy. I feel like, and again, this is like another kind of like little mark against Colin because it's just he sort of had these attributes that like he was missing. You know, he was very debonair in a very natural way still, even though he was a little bit weird, but like not that weird, you know? So
yeah.
I thought it was ridiculous that this man was there for like, I don't know, like a couple of weeks, and he clocked like the ridiculousness between Colin and Penelope. But Colin's been around Penelope for like time, and he just like doesn't. Because I honestly, I thought he had a suspicion, but he just wasn't interested. Like that's what I was thinking, because we were never privy to his like thoughts. So I thought like, oh, he might think like this is my little sister's friend. Like, yeah, maybe she could have a crush on me, but like I don't take this like seriously, you know? But then after watching part 1, and maybe they'll explain that in part 2 a little bit more, because I do think they need to address that. I was like, oh, so like he actually doesn't know. Like he don't know. Like nothing's clicking up here. Yeah. But Debling was like, you watch his window like immediately.
And he noticed that like at the library museum tour thing, like she was just writing it off. Oh yeah, I'm looking at books. Yeah. But then he remembers, oh wait, Colin was there that day too. So he picked up on that.
Yeah, he pays attention, which is like a very sexy attribute, to be honest.
Very sexy.
And his pre-proposal was so cute. The whole like, okay, like if there were 2 characters in a book, like what would this? I thought it was so sweet, and like a bookish proposal.
Yes. And then, but you know who else catches his eye is Cressida, who they're kind of adding some more layers to her, I would say, for this season. What was your guys' thoughts and reaction on that for Cressida?
It wasn't my favorite. I'm like, I do think to be aware that if you're able to like root for Penelope, who has done some very not good things as well, you should have space for other female characters who also do dusty things. However, I feel like from a plot standpoint, I just didn't find it like so interesting. Like I feel like they could have pulled back on how much they were doing with the Cressida redemption. Like I think they could have done it over I don't know, obviously I haven't seen the whole season, but I felt like they could have stretched it out more so that like by episode 8 it's like a full redemption. But it felt like they were doing everything like we're going to her house. Like I didn't need that. But that's just me.
I agree with that. Also, what was up with her costumes?
She always has really extra fluffy, and
it's been worse. It was worse this season.
It was like because she has to overcompensate, which is what I always felt like it represented. Like she has to work so much at trying to be chosen, and like she's doing with her hair, freaking poofs that reach all the way to Alaska. I mean, I kind of appreciated it because I like that they showed that all of these young women are under so much pressure to marry well and to really secure that title and security. And that means she is going through it as well in her home. And I think for Cressida, she's probably also like in her 2nd or 3rd season, which is in that time, it was like a bad sign because it means what's wrong with her? Like, why is nobody choosing her? So they're making it harder for her to get a husband. And now she's having the added pressure where her mom's like, if you don't choose, you me and your daddy gonna pick for you.
Yeah.
So I think she's just, I like that they're showing what she's going through and that the way she's dealing with it, instead of writing in her journals and making a whole career like Penelope, she is lashing out and being a bully. So it's still showing like people will deal with pressure in different ways. So I kind of like that they showed what she's going through at home as well.
I agree. I feel like I agree though before, like how I would have liked if they had stretched it out. Like I kind of would have actually liked if Cressida was the one who because Eloise had told her about Colin helping Penelope. I actually would have liked if Cressida was the one that had told everybody about it, because then in the next half she can redeem herself by like admitting she was wrong or doing something. But I do appreciate seeing that, because I feel, not that it takes away from what she's done, not that it makes it okay, but like hurt people. So not to, be like, all right, well, we can forgive her, but like there's a reason people are the way they are.
Yeah.
Most people aren't born that way. So there's a reason she sucks. And it's because obviously her parents and especially her dad super sucks. Not a reason to treat people bad, but I like knowing why, like, oh, you're an asshole because of this. Gotcha.
Yeah. We have a question. Do you guys think they might be setting up Cressida and Eloise to date, since they said they wanted to do Eloise's story differently? I feel like Eloise is asexual. Like, I haven't seen her take interest in either. She is not interested in like marrying, courting.
She had that thing with Theo though last season, so
yeah, she did have that little for
But did it come off crushy, or like this is a person I'm using to help me?
No,
I think more crushy.
Definitely crushy.
I don't remember. I blacked out season 2.
Yeah, she literally went to the place to ask him how he feels, because I have thoughts. Do you have thoughts? Like it was like a whole thing. Like I put these books away for you. Yeah, no.
I think it was a crush. I don't know about her and Cressida. I mean, it'd be super interesting to see. Yeah. I feel like if any of the Bridgerton kids aren't gonna get married, maybe it's her or Benedict, because my God, I need to bring that back.
Being a rake, he's a rake.
Well, I think like Benedict has like been the most queer coded of all the Bridgertons.
Yeah, I do think.
Yeah. I would expect him to be bi
for sure,
at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I do understand why people think that, because the whole Eloise calling on Cressida was a little, it was a little bit, a little, okay? And so I was like, oh, okay. But I don't actually, honestly, the way they kind of queer baited with Benedict, I don't really think they're going to go down the path of Eloise being.
I don't think so either. I mean, I feel like since Debling didn't go with Penelope, that gives a clear to Cressida. Like, go so. Now you can go and get him. Yeah. You don't have to see him for 3 years. Yeah. See, so I know that we saw that we had some strong feelings with Benedict's storyline. Gabby, you had mentioned that. Do you want to expand on that as I turn on my light? Go ahead, speak.
I just feel like it just keeps recycling the same beats every season, where he just like hooks up with a random person and it's just like shallow and fleeting, and it doesn't. I think season 2 progressed a little bit with the painting and seeing him have like a purpose, but like this season, like he's not doing anything interesting. I have no problem with his love interest, her being older. Like I don't care. It's just like, and that's the point. I just don't care. Like I don't see his story moving forward. I'm not learning anything new about him.
Yeah, that is also fair, because his scenes for me did feel just kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. It was like, we already know this about you. Like, what is this adding to? Who's this widow? Somebody, I think on Twitter or whatever threads, said that what if that's like the mom of Sophie? And I'm like, I hope that's not the case, because that's just weird and gross.
That's something Sean would do though.
Sophie is his love interest in his book.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They better
not. I don't like that. I don't like
that either. I don't like when families intermingle. I don't like that trope. I don't like it.
That's gross. Yeah. Like
I don't think she can be her mother though, because now I'm going race again. That would mean that Sophie's white, which I don't know if that's the way they would go, right?
I feel like they have to, and that's because I don't think they want to make a person of color a slave on this show.
Oh,
That's a good point.
they
Unless
can't.
they
They
don't
can't change
make
that.
her, unless they don't make her a housekeeper.
Yeah.
But then it's not Cinderella.
I feel like they need to cast a black woman as a love interest on the show, and like
Not if she's gonna be a
Benedict
slave.
would be the makes the most sense if they change her job.
They would need to, because then there's gonna be a lot of YouTube essays about that. Like,
They already are.
They changed Kate quite a bit.
well, yeah, but Kate is not a slave in her book. I mean, the show. That's the difference.
Yeah, but like even like just like the little details about her background and everything.
Yeah, they
changed.
did change
Like,
quite a lot. Yeah, for Kate. I think
Yeah.
they can totally change. She could just work at a factory. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
something.
she could be lower class, but not necessarily like
Yeah,
you know.
they would need to, because I like, for me personally, I don't want to see that, like, because like she treated so badly in that book. It makes you angry. I don't want to see a woman of color in that position. So
They can't do it. They can't. There's no way.
She treated really badly. Like it's horrible.
There's no way.
I don't think Shonda will let it happen.
Yeah, there's no way.
They're gonna either make her white or change her job.
You have two choices.
Two choices.
Yeah, Nama, she basically is a slave in that book.
She's like a Cinderella character. Like yeah, like her stepmother kind of forces her to do the housekeeping and the housework in their home.
But so if she's a slave to other black people, isn't that not as bad?
Well, what she's saying, she was saying that can't be Sophie's mom, because then because you're already thinking that they're going to cast a black woman in that role. Whoever is Sophie. It's like, well, but this show doesn't, I mean, it doesn't, and it doesn't care about race. It's weird.
Yeah.
Okay? It's weird.
Yeah.
And it pick and chooses when it wants to address it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Queen Charlotte, they made sure that was a thing in that show, but then when it comes to the other Bridgerton shows, it's not really a thing.
Yeah, like turn a blind eye.
You know?
Yeah, they're always weird about that. I don't know.
They are.
But I also agree. I just think at least in season 2 for Benedict, sorry, going back to Benedict's story. I felt like at least there was the art school with the art lady. Like at least there was some kind of direction there. Well, I don't know what this widow is teaching him. What, sex again? Like he already knows.
He already knows how to do it.
That's what we think, but maybe he's doing all of this because he wants to know more. I want a story for Benedict. I'm not saying that he has to get married. Like that doesn't need to be your ending. Yeah. Like that's okay, but like just I don't know, Benedict, do something. Go back to art school. I don't know, pick up trade.
I agree with you, because his scenes, whenever they come on, I was kind of bored. I was like, well, we've already seen him do this.
I was like, okay, next.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Featherington family, because they are in here quite a bit. And
I have a note.
Oh, awesome. We see them again, and I will say it is a little bit wash, rinse, and repeat here too, because they are still worried about this money, which I almost forgot about, because I know that was a conflict in season 2, but she's still pressuring them to produce an heir so that they can make sure and secure this money right quick. So how do you guys feel about the sisters and the mom?
Sam has a note, so she should go first.
I did write notes because we would do this and I'd forget everything. So I still forget things, but I wrote notes and I put Lady Featherington, can't stand her, but you can't deny how resourceful she is. And then I wrote, these poor sisters not understanding what sex actually is.
Which I have a huge question. Okay. How long have the sisters been married? Okay. So the guy was quick on the trigger the first night, so he didn't get it in. Okay, fine. But then you tell me he didn't try again? How did she not know what sex was?
He didn't know.
This is what happens without sex ed, people.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
I'm sure the husband was not a virgin, only because in these times the girls were the virgins. Like how?
No, I think he was. He seems
they
really
both seem like they
both seem like they could have been.
I like cheese. You think that guy's come on?
It's hard for me to believe that they never had.
He's no Benedict.
Right again? Did he not know where to put it?
They were part of those like cool guys that were hanging out with like Colin and all that.
Yeah, because there's a reason rakes are rakes. Like that's not the norm. Like a rake is called a rake for every historical romance makes you think it's the norm, but like obviously
that's what I'm saying.
But people were also restricted in that way as well. Like it's not like it's not giving brothels every day. Like it's not that.
Y'all put more insight to me because I was confused. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Because she was like, put it where? And the mom's like, wait, what? What do you guys do?
Because think about Colin. Like Colin was like, remember when Colin wanted to be with Marina, and then Antony was like, I know you're very green. I should have brought you to brothels. Like that's just giving, like, you know. So let's think about it. Like this guy, Cheese Boy, he seems like an only child. His parents aren't gonna be like, come to the brothel with me, bro. And if he doesn't have rake friends, like,
I guess that did not cross my mind that he was possibly also a virgin. But you guys have a point. Have a point.
I actually thought it was hilarious though, those scenes. Like, I mean, they were just kind of dumb, but they were funny.
They
like,
were kind of dumb and a little bonkers because I was just distracted at the fact that like I was confused that they were confused as to how sex worked. I was like, wait, what? How does he not know?
And they're like racing to get pregnant. They're like, oh, my boobs are hurting. And like,
you guys think they're pregnant because now their breasts are tender.
I think they're pregnant with girls, and they're not going to.
Oh my god, they should get girls.
And then Penelope's gonna have a boy. I think
boy.
That's gonna happen. Yep, for sure.
Yes. You know, I have a complicated relationship with Mama Featherington because I mean, she's kind of horrible to Penelope and kind of puts her down. But at the end of the day, she does whatever she can to protect her family. And I also think that the actress can be really funny. She can be very protective. And I think she plays it very well.
Great.
She's so good. And the reason that I say that she's protective is because like she's willing to do whatever she needs to make sure that like they keep their home and whatever security that they have left. You know?
See,
I don't like how she's Penelope.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion, two things. I love the Featherington storyline. Like I know some people thought it was annoying. I thought it worked this time. I thought it was really, really funny. Two, I am kind of a Miss Featherington apologist. Like I know this about me. Because I honestly think she doesn't know any better. Like, I know it comes off so bad when she's like, Penelope, why are you looking for love? But look at her marriage. Like, she had a little gambling idiot who she never loved. And I bet, like, she was probably arranged with him. Yeah. And most marriages in the ton, I feel like, you know, Bridgerton obviously is trying to give us, you know, this thing. But most marriages in the ton were just arranged. So her being like, you're going to give up this man with, like, this many acres because you want love. Like I thought it was funny. I like when she was like, do you know what's romantic? Security. And I was like, she ain't lying though. She didn't. He's a nice guy. You don't have to see him all the time. And she wanted privacy anyway. And he's nice. Like, you know, back in the day, nice was not even a requirement. Like,
because they were abusive a lot of the times.
That's what I'm saying. So to me,
lying.
And he was easy on the eyes, so
yeah. Do you guys have thoughts, Gabby and Sam, on Mama Featherington?
She in the beginning reminded me a lot of Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice, but like she's a better version of her because at least like where Mrs. Bennet was very needling, she wasn't exactly very helpful to her daughters. Where I think Lady Featherington is like she's more manipulative. She's much more interesting. Like as a character, she's just like way more fun to watch.
For sure.
So yeah,
she's probably my favorite Featherington next to Penelope because the sisters just come off as like bumbling idiots, and I get annoyed when they're on screen. But that's just me. I'm just like, we can go somewhere else, please. I just kind of
funny. And I think Varley's hilarious too. Like when Portia and Varley, the lady, the maid, I just think
Varley.
Oh yeah,
it's just so camp to me. Like it's just like they're just goofy. So I think it works.
I love Varley in season 2 when she realized like that the cousin was like was coming on to Featherington, and she was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
There's so many characters. Who else is in this show, y'all? What else did
Eloise? We haven't talked about Eloise at all.
Let's talk about Eloise. Okay. Eloise has now formed a friendship with Cressida. And I think it's very interesting her now fractured relationship with Penelope because like she's not really talking to her anymore, but she obviously still really cares about her because she's like, I don't want her to be friendless and I want you to get whatever you want, which is like a husband because she's trying to get out her house. So what do you guys think of Eloise and her relationships on the show?
I think it's fair. I feel like I like that you can see Eloise and Penn still obviously care about each other, and their friendship was so genuine. And so even if you have a falling out with somebody, like, you don't just stop loving someone from the next day. You don't stop like liking someone. You have a history. So I appreciate that. But I also like, I don't blame Eloise for like not wanting to deal with Penn, because even though I like Penelope, like, she's Lady Whistledown. Like, she's fucked up. She put Eloise and her family in a really bad position. So I understand, like, even when Cressida was being fucked up to Penelope, like, I'm not saying that was okay, but I actually appreciated watching Eloise kind of struggle with what to do, because she of course she did end up standing up for Penelope, and she called Cressida out, which I love. But like, I also understand her being a little hesitant, because she's like, fuck this bitch. Like, look at all she's doing.
You don't know if you can trust her, and like, you're still hurt by what she's written about you and your family. So it's understandable.
I like that they're still at least halfway through the season, I'm assuming, that they're still not completely okay, but there's still like some type of respect there.
Yeah.
I think about each other.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's like tough, I think some people are like concentrating on like what Penelope did and everything. But I feel like for me, if I was in Eloise's position, the biggest betrayal is like, I'd be like, I don't feel like I know you. Like, we've been friends for years and I don't know this huge part of your life, and you like kept it from me. So it's like who are you? You know, like that's the cognitive dissonance I would have that would like freak me out. Like, it's not even about like, I don't want to be around you and things like that. It's like, I don't even like, I can't trust you. I don't know who you are. Like, what's going on? Like, you know, I think that's the really, to me, the most heartbreaking part about the whole thing is like, at the end of the day, like, you're doing your own thing, and I'm not part of it, and you didn't want me to be part of it for whatever. I understand why Penelope didn't say anything as well, but I do think it's like, that's the hurtful part. I feel like it's almost like finding out like your friend has like a husband on the side, and you're like, wait a minute, like, you're married, like, you know, a little bit like that. So I would be like really weirded out. But I think I actually think the pacing of their relationship is perfect, and I actually think they have the right amount of angst, the right amount of like,
Agreed.
like, and I'm talking their friendship. I'm not even saying because I know some people with them, but I'm talking just the progression of their friendship and the ups and downs and the lessons that Eloise is learning. Because I do think Eloise, just like Penn, both of them are very flawed characters. They need a lot of work, and I think that Eloise is actually being pushed to do that work right now, and I think that's really good. Is Penn being pushed to do that work? Maybe in part two.
I don't know. And it's like, go ahead, Gabby. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say I agree. I think like that was one of my favorite things about season 2 was that, I mean, I'm sad to say it's not my favorite, but it was such a great scene to see their fight. Like, it felt so real, felt really heartbreaking. Like, I mean, it was a tough thing to watch, you know, like a really brilliant way though to end the season and kind of create that new tension for this season. And yeah, I feel like I've really enjoyed just watching that part of the show in these first 4 episodes. And I agree, like with Anne, like seeing Eloise learn a lot about herself. I think in a lot of ways it's also setting her up to be the lead next season in a way. So
dang.
That's like my theory right now, just based on the first 4.
I've heard that theory as well for some people. Yeah.
You think that Eloise is gonna get next season?
Yeah.
I don't know. You could be right. It's a toss-up. I don't know.
I feel like the only thing that makes me think it would be Benedict is that they can't think of something else to do with him.
You can't see him in brothels again for another season. You're so right.
He needs a job. He needs to do something.
Yeah.
You're so
Do you think they're gonna pick? Because it's okay. Because Bridgerton has only been renewed for 4 seasons. Like, that's the only, and we've gotten no pim from Netflix about if they're gonna go onward. So I feel like they have to position it in a way that'll set it up for people to want to come back still, like demand that Netflix.
Okay, fine. Benedict won't work. I get it. Okay.
I mean, but to Gabby's point, she makes a really good point. He has nothing to do. Like I feel like we kind of have to. Now I feel very strongly that he has to be next season.
He needs a job. He needs some focus in his life. I don't know. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Do you think they're worried? Because if they do, sorry, not to.
Oh, that's okay. No, go ahead.
If they do his season next, because look what's happened to the leads, right?
Yeah.
Anthony, fan favorites, but they were in this for like 5 seconds. If they do, whoever they do next, they kind of need to be willing to almost let them go going forward. That's because let's say they do Benedict. Then Benedict's going to be married. And canonically, he can probably like leave the show, as in like the actors can then, go on to do something different. Same thing. So that's why I hesitate with Eloise's season next, because no way. I can't see a world where they're like, oh, Eloise may or may not be back for season 5. Like, I just don't think that would even work. I don't know.
I was like really hoping, because I thought they were setting up and I thought maybe it could be Francesca, but again, I do see the point of like, but there's nothing else left for Benedict to do except living the life of leisure as the second son.
There's no one left for him to do.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Good one. I want to ask a question really quick. What do you guys think of Lady Danbury's brother with Violet? I'm rooting for it. She needs to get her garden. Get the garden watered, bloom, because if you watch Queen Charlotte, you guys know that Violet has been feeling some type of way. Edmund has died for many years now, and she is still a full-blooded woman.
She's about time.
She's out here trying to live her life and trying to get some, and I'm rooting for it. I was like, yes.
Same.
Yes.
Same. Yeah. About time. She dropped the handkerchief. Stop it. Oh.
That's the move. Drop it so he could pick it up.
And she didn't even, it wasn't even intentional. Oh,
I
know. Yeah. No, it's going to be good.
Hoping it's happening. And then I hope Danbury is like for it.
She won't be. She wants him to leave.
She just hates her brother.
But like, what if it's like a one-night stand type of thing? Like, it doesn't have to be forever.
No.
I want a real romance for Violet.
Yeah.
She deserves romance.
She does, but I won't be mad if it's not a one-night stand.
No, she's got to. Where is she going to move to? She needs.
She needs a house. I'm sure Anthony will buy her a house.
I know. I just want her to find love.
For sure. She wants a love match.
My God.
Yeah, for sure. Eye for an eye.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. That's why she should not have an issue.
Lindsay gets it.
Yeah, she does. Okay, I don't know if we've spoken enough about the main couple of the show, Polin.
No, we haven't.
Which is crazy.
Because
let's circle back and talk about them just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you guys have gotten to know me as like a reader and stuff. So I just have like huge problems with this. I feel like he said some shit to her last season that would hurt anybody's feelings, especially if you're somebody who is a wallflower outwardly and your self-esteem and your confidence is not there. Yeah. All your confidence is behind closed doors with the power of your pen. And then you know that like you're kind of like you're the like I didn't mean to do that, I swear.
But you did.
Thank you. But she's very much like the laughing stock, and then hear this guy who's not only her friend, but she has been secretly crushing on him, and then hearing that really hurt her. And then she lets him have it at that ball, even after she changes her dress and her hair. And then it bothers me that he never really apologizes to her. He just lets her know, you're the one that I wrote to because I feel warm around you, and then that's it. But there was no like, I'm sorry for saying this thing. I should have never said that.
I think he did say, I apologize for saying it, but he should have said, I should have, or I didn't mean it. Because it was a little like, oh, I'm sorry you heard that. It was giving that vibe more than I apologize for
it was
like saying that it wasn't even true. Or like, because all he kind of said was, it kind of was true. Like, I think you're my bestie, but I would never date you. That's technically how I would take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then see, but that's why like grovels, they really never really live up to what I want to see on the page or on the screen. So I maybe it's a me problem, but it just wasn't good enough for me. But I guess I am that way IRL. Like if you hurt my feelings, like fuck you. If you're not really apologizing, like it's probably gonna be a fractious relationship. What else can we say about Colin?
I mean, in that vein, one thing that popped out to me is like there wasn't any big like quote moment. Like in the first season, we had "I Burn for You."
Yeah.
Last season, we had "You're the bane of my existence," and then Queen Charlotte, like "You're the like sun and stars of my." I forgot it, but like it was a big moment. Yeah. We didn't get that. Like,
what would you name it in this season? Let's think. What did he say?
I don't even remember.
I honestly,
all he did was talk, but it was all shit.
Yeah.
None of it felt like,
no, it wasn't gas.
Yeah.
Honestly, I quoted Penelope. Like Penelope said, like, "Oh, my character gets lost between my heart and my mouth, or something, or my head and my mouth." And I was like, "Oh, a poet." But then Colin says, "Oh, I've been thinking about you a lot in my dreams for a week."
Lame.
And he's like, "Oh, I want to be in my dreams so I can stay there." And I was like, "She lives next door." Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Look at the window. She's been sitting there for years, sir.
That's right. See, I forgot he said that. See, is it the actor who plays him, or is it the words?
It's the words to me.
I don't think it's the actor.
No,
I don't think so. I think he's good. I think it was just, at least for me, it was just such a 180. Like he was giving me like Flynn Rider vibes, and it was just like it came out of nowhere. I get it. We're all different when we come back from vacation. I think I'm when I come back from vacation, don't talk to me. I get it. But it was just too much, and like he was just laying it on too thick, pun intended. And it was not, I don't know. It wasn't working for me. I forgot which one of you said it, that he should have just like stayed how he was, like sweet Colin, with a little more confidence. I don't know. And then
I guess that was their way of trying to make it seem like he grew and changed too over that time that we didn't see him. I don't know.
Yeah, true. But I also agree, like, obviously people make mistakes, and I think you absolutely need to give room for people to make mistakes, for sure. But like, I agree, like, I think his apology wasn't that great. And because I think also, like, they weren't just casual friends. Like, he said that he would write to her every time he traveled, and she was one of the only ones he'd write to. Like, they had a good bond, and he like super hurt her. And so I feel like I thought we were gonna see her like truly not give a shit about him, at least for an episode or two.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't for us, and that's fine. And then he comes back to grovel. And like, I can't deny it. But she never lost it. And I was like, girl, like, he was so rude to you. At least hate him for an episode.
I agree, Sam. Speaking my language. It's just
okay.
I have nothing else to say because that was great.
It was so good. It was so good. I also think, okay, because I've been in the quotes, like I've been looking at, because I didn't like it, so I'm trying to see what other people were seeing or what they.
Yeah, I forgot what he says.
And then so I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this is their season, right? So I need you to show me their friends to lovers, because I know you're saying they're good friends, but I haven't seen it so far. All I've seen to me is her like mooning over him and him like half listening to what she's saying, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, Colin brought all these gifts for his little family. Why couldn't he bring back a gift for Pen? You don't think somebody would do that for their friend? You don't think that's like a easy thing to show? And then why aren't we reading the letters? Why don't we show a letter or two, to show it's like the perfect way to show their unchaperoned like behavior is through the damn letters. And they were like, no, we're gonna keep that. It might be in part 2, and that might sound dumb later. But
let's assume everything great is in part 2.
Exactly, everything great is in part 2. Because show the receipts, show the letters, show like their relationship, show how deep it is, so that when if you're gonna have the kiss be the reason he like flips, I need to believe it.
Believe it. Yeah. Yeah, which is one thing that and then even after the kiss, they don't interact that much, which I didn't love because I just felt like maybe I needed that layer to add more to the tension because they don't really interact after the kiss. There's no interaction between Polin. I wanted more.
Yeah,
I did.
I thought this would be the season where the couple talks the most because they're friends to lovers.
They're friends. They're friends to lovers. Why are you not speaking? You guys in this trope that you love.
It's good when it's done well. Okay, please.
I don't really love friends to lovers. I'm an enemies to lovers girl, but I do occasionally I did like Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. That's why I was like,
oh, you did like that book.
Yeah, like
like that book.
I do. So I do like maybe a couple friends to lovers, but it's not like my go-to. It's not like a big selling point to me.
Yeah, I've liked very few, but it's not my go-to for sure.
Right.
So then let's now speak about the leading lady here, Nicola Coughlan, right? Is that her last name? Playing Penelope Featherington. I think with every season, at least for me, there's always like kind of a standout out of the two leads.
Yeah.
I think Reggie Jean Page was like the main like boom in season 1. And then in season 2, maybe Jonathan, just because I feel like he has like such a huge presence as Anthony. Like that's the only way that I can describe it. Like he has a lot of presence. And then for this one, for me, like Nicola is like the fucking star. Like I want to see more of you. I don't care about Luke Newton that much, but I want to see Nicola. Okay. So how do you guys feel how she played this? Do you guys have maybe like favorite moments of her, of any of the scenes? Or what you liked most about?
I liked when she was trying to flirt the first time. It was so awkward and cringy, just like perfect. Yeah. Like I couldn't watch it. It was that good. So yeah, I think she totally gets that character. I think she's able to have like, be kind of bumbling and like unsure, but then also totally confident and like very, very sharp at the same time. So I think she's just like, she's always been one of my favorite characters. I understand like why people see her as a villain or see her like don't really like her, but I just think that makes her more fascinating. And that's like really just because of Nicola. She just plays the character so well.
Agreed. I agree. She does the awkward bumbling well. And then I guess my favorite moments are when she finally kind of lets a little bit of whistle down out in like her public moments when she is able to just like be herself and like be witty and clever. Those are my favorite moments for sure. And I had read from one of her interviews that she really fought to be nude in one of the sex scenes. I guess that we'll see in part 2 because she really wanted to just show that. And I'm really excited to see that too because it's just like annoying that it's always a talking point because it should feel like normal that there's different, variety of people who look all types of ways. But when it does happen, it is like a thing that's like noticeable. But I think like she's so freaking pretty. She's so talented.
She's gorgeous.
So freaking, her skin is freaking
like staring at her face, I'm like, how?
Wow.
And she's so charming. She's funny and she's confident. I love her. So I love that she fought for a new scene. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see her body on screen, getting it on, getting it down. I can't wait for it.
I think she did an excellent job. I think her as an actress and like just like how she is too, like I've seen her stuff on social media as well. She just seems super, super great. I think she does the character. I'm not necessarily a Pen fan. I do think like it's kind of crazy what she did to Marina, but I enjoy her character like on screen. Like just because just because I don't love someone doesn't mean I don't want to see them on screen. Like I do enjoy every single one of her scenes. I love the way she does anything. And just today, like, I feel like she was a big reason why the season was still able to be fun in some aspects. Like, I don't think the fun would be there without the way she plays Penelope. Like, even when she was begging Colin for that kiss, and if I put aside my pride, she acted that really well. Like I didn't feel, because if you said that to me, I'd feel like I'd be taken out of the scene. Like I'd be like, no, this is not real. But the way she played that, I did believe like that this person would be saying what they're saying right now. Do I like it? No, but I understand like this is real. So she's really good at conveying all the emotions for sure.
For sure. And I can't wait to see more of her in season 2. I want to see this comment. The fact he just fell for her over a kiss and not her friendship, like that just tells me he's just horny and not in love. Well, let's talk about the carriage scene. How'd you guys feel about that? Because lots of things happen. Like there's a whole like confession when he's like, but I want to be more than friends. And then she kind of like, I guess, can't really believe it, which is why she kind of questions and stops and like hesitates, which I understand, I guess, because for her, it's kind of like a dream come true and she can't really believe it's happening. And then things get physical. Any thoughts on the carriage scene? It was kind of like a long-winded carriage scene. It was.
I liked it. I mean, it was a good time. The Pitbull song was like the cherry on
That was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a Pitbull song until I saw someone say that online. They're so good at like hiding.
That was like one of the first things I noticed. I'm like, are we like in 2010 or something? But yeah, no, other than that, I mean, that was a really well done scene. I mean, the tension, the passion, like I all felt it there. I mean, like, was the lead up to it like great? No, but like I think for what we were expecting for that curve scene and like everything that went down, like I was almost not expecting that to be in part 1 at all. So like I was just sort of stunned that this was all happening, and I was like, what is going on? And they totally went for it, and it was good. Like I liked it.
Yeah, agreed. I like that it was finally like we were seeing Colin do something, not just talking. So like I like that he interrupted the dance, and I like that she finally was like fuck off. And then I liked that, and I felt so bad when the guy was like, whatever his name is, the vegetarian. Yeah, he was like, no, like forget this. I felt awful. But like, I love a good chase. I like that he literally chased after the carriage. I'm like, yes, this is what we needed. I liked that. I like that he hopped in and she was like, no, I don't want to see you. Like, finally. So I was into that. I'm very curious. Like, it was a good scene. And then, obviously, who's ever, driving had to have heard of it.
I saw someone TikTok impersonating the driver. It was so funny. I'll send it to you guys after. But it was like her in the carriage because she was a driver, like in her skit, and she was like,
yes. So
wait, is lady whistle down? Because
I'm so curious, like their facials, but also so when they stop and like Colin was like, "Are you coming in?" I'm so confused as logistically, how is that going to work? I get it. You just fingered her. You want to have sex. Great. But like, you're just going to sneak her into the house. How are you going to sneak her out? Like,
I don't think he's trying to sneak her. I think he's trying to introduce her to her family.
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to like sneak her in. And I was like, but isn't everybody else at the ball? I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. She was concerned about that too, but then he's like, "Oh, we're way past that. I'm taking you as my wife."
Yeah. So it was a thing. Yeah. No, I'm gonna be mean again. I'm so sorry. I feel bad. Like I don't like not liking things. Like I want to be part of the hype. I want to be with everybody else. But for me, I like the lead up part. That's what actually interests me more, and that's in books, TV, everything. Like I like the lead up to and then the tension breaks. So I thought it was really well. I did like the interruption. I did like that she was like, "Get off me!" Like what? You ruined my engagement. I thought that was so good. And then he spoke and said what he said, and I was like,
"Talks."
And I wanted like that flowery Bridgerton language. Like I can't even come up with the stuff that they say. And there was
Gabby was saying earlier, like there's no like major like quote that like makes him really stand out as a main like a male lead.
Nothing. And he didn't even use, like, honestly, to me, the dialogue, that's why I'm saying to me, it's not the actor, it's the writing, to me at least, because the dialogue that was used is like straight out of a early 2000s rom-com. I want to be
They
friends.
use the Pipple
I
song.
don't want to be. I want to be so much more than friends. I could say that today. I can't say you're the bane of my existence or I burn for you today. Like you know what I mean? Like I wanted that kind of like flowery language, especially given they're both writers. So what is this? What is this? Maybe write it down instead and pass it because I don't. I just
Maybe
I
their
just-
vows are going to be great.
oh my gosh, that would be so.
Yes,
I'm
if
ready
we
for
get
that.
a wedding scene.
We are.
really
We're
do
getting
vows
everything
either.
the next half. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Next
Everything
half
we
is gonna
want
be
is
like
going to be
8
the
hours
next half.
long, but everything we want.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll skip around and just skip right to the wedding night. I don't know. Or like when he has to announce his new bride to be to the family. Hey, I'm engaged to Penelope. No, it's not weird.
I will say super quick,
yes.
I was a little disappointed. I feel like the last 2 seasons, every episode there was a known song that they would use, and I loved that. And and the 4 episodes, I only noticed like 2. I was very upset.
There were quite a few because I felt the same, and I had to like look up on Spotify what popular songs did they use, but they used "Jealous" by Nick Jonas, but I don't remember hearing it.
Neither
They
do
played it
I.
in the
What the hell?
background.
It was
while they
in
were
the
talking.
scene when he's getting jealous that like she's talking to Debling, but like it's very much like a little bit drowned out in the background. So I think like for this season, you really gotta like really lean in because they use that one, they use the Pitbull song, and then they use the ABCDEFU song, and then I think there's like 2 or 3 more, but
They played
they're
Dynamite
not
for
as
2 seconds. Like
yeah,
by BTS.
they're not
or
as
whatever.
a standout this season.
I feel like they weren't really utilized as needle drops. Where I think in the first and second season, like it builds up to a moment, it drops it, and you like recognize it right away.
Yeah,
where this
yeah.
felt like a lot more like background music, where other things were
Yeah.
happening. And,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
agree.
because the only one I did notice Jealous, but it wasn't right away. And I recognized the Pitbull song right away. I was like,
Same.
what is this? This is taking me back to like my 20s. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. I think Happier Than Ever was a needle drop because I don't actually know the song that well, so I didn't know, but I could tell like this
was
is
that again. What scene was that again?
when she's dancing, episode 3 where she's dancing with Debling and like Colin is like angsty, you know.
Oh, see, I didn't notice that either, but that is another song that they use.
Mhm.
They are. Oh, okay. Did anybody else feel like it was a smaller scale with like the sets? Because it felt like it felt a little bit more like closed in and not as grand. Like there was like a lot more balls and they were a little bit darker in smaller rooms. It felt like. Did anybody else feel that way? It felt smaller scale to me. And I was
kind
just
of felt
wondering.
like a COVID season more than season 2 did. Like I feel like with season 2, they went to Aubrey Hall, they went to like a lot of different locations. And I will give them grace because this is just part 1. Like they could go to different places after this, but it did feel like we're in room 1, we're in room 2. Like it's not very.
It felt
grand.
smaller, which was confusing to me because I was like, don't y'all have a bigger budget? Like, why does this feel smaller?
Are we in the palace a lot less too?
Yeah, we were. Oh, yeah, we didn't go because season 2 we were in the palace a lot. They went to the observatory for like her ball. There was a lot of like really cool locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this season didn't really have like the bigger.
It felt like
we didn't really see the queen that often either, right?
Yeah. It might be the point though to give some credit, I guess, because Penelope is bored of balls. Like if we're going from her perspective, she's like she doesn't have a good. I mean, she does have a good time, but not in terms of like suitors and stuff like that. So she doesn't see it as like grand or magical. So maybe they were trying to make it like really muted and somber because like that's kind of how like in her 3rd year, that's how she associates. Yeah, but I don't know.
That's a good point as well. I like when the setting can reflect where the character is at. So I like the explanation because it really stood out to me. I was like, this feels like we're like in the same room, but like it's a different ball, but like we're in the same setting. I'm imagining the conflict for part 2 might be that the mom and Anthony not approve Colin marrying another Featherington because of what happened in season 1.
Not another friend. That was Thompson, eh? But yeah.
Maybe. I mean, well, I feel like because at one point the mom see Colin looking at Penelope and it was like, do you want to talk to me about it?
Yeah,
she really approves of Penelope.
Yeah,
she likes the
I
friendship.
love how the mom is always kind of like team love.
Yeah.
She's like
Alright.
she's the greatest mom. So I think she was kind of for him going for her.
I think the conflict is Lady Whistledown. I think we know
Yeah,
that.
those are the biggest stakes for sure.
So
Because
then
they
I don't.
literally. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go
go.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, so I don't know how the books are, but when does everybody else, like, do we think everybody else is going to find out about her? No, right? Because if we still need more seasons of Bridgerton, I imagine they can't know who Lady Whistledown is.
I think a small group, this is my prediction. I think a small group of people are going to know and like let her continue. I think that's what they're going to do. Because
Do we think it's going to be the Bridgertons that are going to know?
like I think the Bridgertons and then probably the Featheringtons just for maybe just Portia. And she's no, but then she would like blackmail her for the money, wouldn't she? I don't know.
I think your theory is right. I think it would only be the Bridgertons who would know, and that's it. Because there is no way Penelope can publicly come out and still be Lady Whistledown unless she completely changes her column into something that is less gossipy. And
Are we gonna do book spoilers? Isn't there an answer to this?
Yeah. So
do we want to know spoilers?
I'm okay with book spoilers.
Okay.
I already know what happens in the book as well.
Okay. So go ahead and explain, Gabby.
So basically Colin and Anthony decide to announce to everyone at a ball that Penelope's Lady Whistledown and like sort of make it sound like it's this thing they've accepted and it's cool and whatever. So like the news isn't really that scandalous because the Bridgertons being so well respected helped the public accept the fact that she was Lady Whistledown. But then she decides to give it up. So she no longer becomes, there's no more Lady Whistledown in the books after that. And they use like a different like convention for each book. Like in Eloise's book, there's letters that like begin each chapter instead of the Lady Whistledown like newsletter.
Gotcha.
I don't think they ever do that in the show.
I feel like it's too big. It's too big a part of the show for them to get rid of that.
And she's done too many because believe in the book. I believe in the books. It's just like she's just saying like little news, like very much like tea time stuff. She's not like exposing people.
It's larger in the show.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can go with like, oh, Colin, just go out there and tell the crowd that I'm like.
We'll see how they handle that. Before we wrap up, do you guys think that we're gonna get 8 seasons? Because I don't see that happening. Because I feel like only because Netflix, they don't really have long running series that much.
I think it could. I think if the ratings stay consistent, I mean, 1, 2, and Queen Charlotte did amazing. I think they hold the records for like
I would be
shows. So like if this season does just as well, they're gonna keep renewing it.
I would be shocked.
I agree. I think if the ratings stay great, I think
seasons Netflix?
Maybe they'll combine like the last 2 kids.
I know Shondaland is more than capable of it. There's like 20 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. So like
I know, but that started on ABC. This is a Netflix original, which is different.
But I mean, Shondaland also produces it. So if Netflix decides to like not do anything with it, I don't know what the contract says. But perhaps Shondaland can shop it somewhere else too.
I also think all of Netflix's big original shows are ending. Like Stranger Things is gonna be done. What else do they have? I can't even name more than that. Stranger Things is gonna be done. I guess I'm thinking of the shows that I watch. Like You is gonna be done. Like there's like I don't know, the couple like bigger original shows are ending. And for right now, this show seems to be one of their only original shows that still has a lot of longevity. So I think it would be strange to me if they cancel it, but they've also canceled a bunch of things that I thought was crazy. So
that's what I'm saying. They cancel like left and right. And I know that they don't release ratings per se, but they usually release like, oh, this is the most watched English show with like 10 million. So I'll be on the lookout for that to see how this show does. And then that'll, I guess that'll help me understand, okay, does this really have longevity?
I don't think this matters as much as season 4 matters though, right?
Oh.
Because her ratings, because they already said we're doing 4
already
seasons.
approved.
So
That's
I think
true.
Right. I do think if it stays consistent, though, they'll definitely maybe renew it for another 2-season deal or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I would be very surprised if this doesn't do well. I mean, Bridgerton fans watch this like over and over again. I've already watched this season like 3 times. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see it twice. Second time in passing, mostly just so I can prepare to do this live show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, more than any. Yeah, go ahead, Sam. Go.
I will say super quick that I loved the right before the first episode when it starts and you see the Netflix the N, but they made it with flowers. It was so cute.
Pretty. It was so pretty, and the teal background. I really thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
They changed their profile on Twitter to look just like that as well. I like when they do that.
Love it.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my biggest hope though is like I hope more historical romances get made from this. Like I'm still confused why that hasn't happened. Like 4 years later, why aren't they trying to make more from other streaming services? Like Apple, I know they have the Buccaneers, but it's a different kind of vibe. It's not really like a romance like that. I would say, and then, but like Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, where are the historical romances?
I think they're too expensive to make.
But it's a success. People watch.
But I think it's like they always like will see one thing hit big with women and think it's just going to be a one-time thing and they're not going to try again. Like it's always like that. Like Hollywood has always made decisions that way, and it's very frustrating.
They make decisions where they see the money. And I feel like Netflix probably makes a lot of money. Like I only subscribed so that I could watch this show. So like I would think that like you see the numbers and like the clout that it gets isn't like, so that's like green, that's the money. Like, so then how are you not making more of these?
I think though there are historical romance shows that exist now that aren't maybe as big as Bridgerton, and I think they need to know what the sauce is. Like I feel like Bridgerton, although it is a historical romance, it does have a lot of really like different elements from other ones.
Yes.
And I think I don't know, I'm not gonna name some, but I know there's like one with like there were like the girl, I don't know, but it was just, I think it was on Apple TV, and it was like they also tried to do like a more chill Regency like type of show.
I think that was Buccaneers.
Is it Buccaneers? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like it has like also the blind, like the race blind.
Yeah, but it wasn't received.
Yeah, but it's a different. It is not Bridgerton vibe.
It's not
that show.
And like it's not as like melodramatic as Bridgerton. Like Bridgerton definitely has like a soapy vibe to it, and I think the Buccaneers doesn't quite have that. But I do think it was great. I thought it was good. Like I really liked it.
I liked it. I did. I just want more. I just want more.
Or I've seen like a lot of films come out because inspired by Bridgerton, like with the race blind casting, like Persuasion, the Mr. Something's List, Mr. Malcolm's List, like those kind of things. Yeah.
There's also like Hallmark does like I think race blind stuff for like Pride and Prejudice. Like
yes, they did come out with those TV movies. Okay, so like slowly but surely, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just thinking of like more like from like big historical romance authors. Like I know like Lisa Kleypas is very popular, and people in that genre, historical romance, would love to see the Wallflowers get made. Lorraine Heath is another big name. And I personally love Joanna Shupe because it's not in freaking Regency England. It's in New York during the Gilded Age. So it feels different and it feels like kind of edgier. Yeah. Cool. I would love to see that. Yeah, I was just hoping for more. But that's just me. Cool.
More romance always.
More romance always, for sure. Yeah. All right. So we did it. Yeah. We did it. I'm going to hang backstage with my panel, but I'm going to say goodbye to you guys who are all watching. And if you're watching after the fact, please share this with your Bridgerton fans, and we will see you guys for part 2 in about a month. So bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.